Welcome to the Deep Dive. We plunge into complex stories, sift through all the layers, and really try to unearth those vital insights to get you informed fast. Today we're navigating a truly chilling case from Hastings, South Carolina, a serial killer investigation. We're going to unravel the disturbing events, the unsettling profile of the killer using police reports, FBI analyses, personal accounts. Our mission really is to pull out the key pieces of understanding, help you grasp this fascinating, honestly terrifying investigation. Let's start unpicking it.
Yeah, this one starts with a town just gripped by fear. Hastings, usually a quiet place. Suddenly it's plunged into this terror, 3 brutal murders in just 3 weeks. And the victims, they shared these really unsettling similarities. Successful women, intelligent, all blondes, found with their faces, contorted in this final horrifying scream. It wasn't just crime, it felt like a siege.
And it sounds like it became clear pretty quickly this wasn't random. The local police, Chief Rafe Sullivan to Detective Mallory Beck, they saw a pattern almost straight away. What really stood out?
What was immediately weird, really unique, was how they died. Or rather, just before. They all apparently left their cars unlocked, keys in the ignition, and then just walked into the woods, seeming willingly. Which, given the fear in town, makes no sense. It suggested this, shocking level of trust in the killer.
Trust, wow.
Yeah, someone they knew, someone who could make them drop their guard. He wasn't, forcing entry. He was being let in.
That's deeply disturbing. It implies a whole other level of manipulation. So the local police, seeing how unusual this was, they knew they needed backup, specialized help. They reached out to the FBI specifically asking for you said an unconventional unit.
Exactly. They called in the Special Crimes Unit, the SCU, from Quantico. Highly specialized and, pretty unorthodox. The FBI's own training academy, known for behavioral analysis. But the SCU, their methods sometimes look more like magic or some kind of witchcraft rather than science. That's how some inside the Bureau might describe it. But despite that skepticism, the key thing is they get results, undeniably.
Magic or witchcraft? Huh. That sounds, how do you even sell that to local cops or your own bosses? Methods that seem so out there.
It's less about selling and more about showing. Yeah. The Bureau, they keep the successes quiet, mostly, but the SCU often gets called when, traditional methods hit a wall. And when they arrive, it's not just psychic stuff. They integrate those insights, cross-reference visions with actual forensic evidence. It's this strange bridge, really.
Okay. So for Hastings, they sent 2 agents.
Yeah.
Isabel Adams, a profiler, and Hollis Templeton, her partner. Definitely not the standard FBI types then.
Not at all. Isabel Adams has this extraordinary psychic ability, clairvoyance. She literally experiences the victims' deaths, sees, hears, feels what they did. Sometimes it even manifests physically on her, blood on her hands, neck, that kind of thing. And what's really fascinating, or maybe deeply personal here, is her connection to this killer. She felt him before. 5 years ago, Alabama, brunettes. 10 years ago, Florida, redheads. A friend of hers was one of them. Her ability, it's tied to this trauma from when she was young, encountering, as she put it, evil with a beautiful face. It shaped her.
That's an incredible burden to relive that kind of trauma again and again. And Hollis Templeton, her partner, she brings something equally unique, a medium. How does that work in an investigation, and what's the cost for her?
Hollis can sense, sometimes actually see, the spirits of the dead, those lingering presences after violent deaths. It's profound, but it comes at a real physical cost. She lost her eyes in an assault years ago, gained this other kind of sight. Her vision is literally man-made. Seeing those spirits, it's incredibly taxing, pushes her to her limits, physically.
So with this unique team, did their profiling change? Or were they still looking for familiar patterns when they started building that initial picture of the killer?
Oh, they definitely still looked for patterns. But their insights let them see maybe deeper patterns, The first profile painted a picture. Victims were white women, blonde, 25, 35, smart, savvy, strong. The killer, probably local, known, trusted, maybe an authority figure, cop, priest, someone well-known. The crimes were sexual, filled with this vicious hatred, but interestingly, no rape initially.
No rape. Why is that significant?
Crucial distinction. It hinted at the killer's own deep-seated sexual anxieties, a desperate need for control. It suggested that actual rape, if it happened later, would be a major escalation, a sign his control was breaking down.
Right, okay. So the SCU dives deep into the victims' lives. And the investigation into Jamie Brower, the first victim, that uncovered something really shocking, didn't it, from her sister Emily?
It was a bombshell, yeah. Jamie Brower, successful real estate broker. She was leading this secret life. As a dominatrix, her sister showed the agents photos, a playhouse, S&M gear, Jamie in leather, heels with other women in submissive poses. It just reframed everything instantly. Well, the question shifted from why these women to maybe, was Jamie's power, her control over other women, the very thing that set him off? It added this chilling new angle to his motives.
And then, as if that wasn't enough, they found something else, an older secret. A fourth body, Hope Tesnier, dead for months before the current killing started, and connected to Jamie.
That's right, found in an old gas station. And yes, Hope Tesnier was one of Jamie's S&M partners. This led to a really disturbing theory connecting past and present. Maybe Hope's accidental death in Jamie's playhouse, perhaps during a session, was the actual trigger for the current spree.
A trigger. How?
It possibly gave him a cold body to experiment with first. To see, as the thinking went, what a warm one would feel like. A truly macabre dress rehearsal.
That's horrifying, using a past tragedy as practice. And it was around this time, right, that things took another really unexpected turn, this connection forming between Isabel and the police chief, Rafe Sullivan. Not just professional.
Not at all. This was completely new ground. Frontier territory, they called it. When Isabel and Rafe touched, there was this literal spark, visible. And somehow that connection seemed to, muffle the constant psychic noise in Isabel's head, gave her some peace. What's even wilder is Rafe seemed to be developing his own abilities, a kind of shield. He became this unwitting but vital participant in their methods.
So Rafe, just a seemingly regular police chief, accidentally becomes part of this psychic dynamic. Meanwhile, the killer gets bolder, escalates, sending notes to a reporter, Alan Moore. And Emily Brower, Jamie's sister, is murdered. Brutally, this time with rape.
Exactly. The taunting notes, Isabel actually predicted something like that. It confirmed his desire to mock the police, hinted at this identity crisis he was having, a need for recognition maybe, and the escalation to post-mortem rape with Emily that showed a deepening rage, a total loss of control. Plus, how he lured Emily out was just meticulous. Orchestrated this whole fake accident involving another officer's abusive father, Tim Helton. It showed a killer growing bolder, more desperate, and just terrifyingly unhinged.
The whole investigation, the whole unraveling of this, it leads to this absolutely shocking revelation about the killer's identity. Something that just changes everything they thought they knew.
It really did. The killer wasn't some outside figure. It was a male entity, a split personality, a separate consciousness living inside Detective Mallory Beck.
Inside the detective.
Inside the detective herself. The NSCU's view, this wasn't just psychological, it was a psychic manifestation. This stronger one, as they called it, had taken over Mallory, acted through her, suppressed her memories. He was responsible for all the previous killings, too. Florida, Alabama, now Hastings, a complete shattering of identity.
That is incredibly disturbing. So it wasn't just a general hatred of women driving this. Were there specific motives now that they knew who or what it was?
Absolutely specific. This male entity, his hatred came from this profound feeling of emasculation, a pathological need for control. He couldn't stand women having power, especially over other women. That's why Jamie, the dominatrix, infuriated him so much it triggered this current spree, different from his past patterns. He used Mallory's position, her trust, to lure victims, then just wiped her memory clean, weaponizing her own mind.
So, with this terrifying truth out, the team is racing for answers, looking for Jamie's hidden box of photos, thinking it holds clues. And it's a casual comment, almost random, from another officer, Travis Keach, that points them somewhere unexpected.
Yeah, Travis just kind of mused, if you wanted to bury a secret forever, he'd put it in a grave. Just an offhand remark, but it sparked something. Led them to Susan Andrews' grave, somewhat important from Jamie's past. The intuition was Jamie had, metaphorically buried part of her life there. Turns out she literally did.
Which leads to this final terrifying showdown in the cemetery. What happened when Isabel and Rafe confronted the killer?
In the cemetery, yeah. They confront the killer, still in Mallory's body. And he speaks in Mallory's voice, but deeper, rougher. Chillingly recounts everything. The drownings in Florida, the murders in Alabama. Then he aims Isabel's own gun at her heart. A really personal, perverse taunt aimed right at Rafe. And it's right then, in that terrifying moment, Isabel realizes, with Rafe there, she is never alone again. It was this powerful testament to their bond, his silent commitment.
This whole case, the investigation,
Yeah.
it took an immense toll, didn't it? Not just lives lost, but on everyone involved. What was the ultimate cost?
Oh, the cost was profound. Beyond the tragic deaths, the psychological weight on Rafe, Isabel Hollis, It was immense. The story really shows how evil, even when it looks beautiful, it's ultimately self-destructive. But the devastation it leaves behind, Isabel called it a train wreck, said it overshadows any feeling of heroism. It changes you, facing that head on.
But out of that darkness, something powerful did emerge. These deep bonds. Isabel and Rafe's psychic connection strengthened. Their commitment to keep fighting. And even Hollis, who was maybe a bit skeptical about her own medium abilities, she became a believer.
Absolutely. Hollis's abilities were tested critically, sensing Jamie's spirit, perceiving Helton's aggression through Rafe's empathy. Those experiences were undeniable proof for her. Moved her past skepticism to, well, acceptance, understanding her own power. This case didn't just solve crimes, it forged them into this incredible, if very unconventional, team.
So looking beyond just this one case, what does the SCU's work, this whole deep dive, tell us about understanding hidden truths, especially the kind that defy easy explanation?
Well, the SCU's whole approach is constantly evolving. It's ongoing trial and error, really. Trying to understand these abilities as real investigative tools. This deep dive, I think it shows us how deceiving appearances can be, how trauma can weirdly unlock these powerful abilities, and how even facing just absolute awful evil, that human connection, that drive for justice, it can create the very tools you need to fight back. It's about looking past the obvious, accepting the unconventional, trusting the unseen sometimes.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What hidden truths might be lurking in your own world, maybe in plain sight waiting to surface, and what extraordinary connections could be out there waiting to be found, even in the darkest, most unexpected places.